I want to share something with you about spirituality. I've watched many young men and women online proclaiming to be spiritual, whether Christianity, New Age movement, Buddhism, Islam, and a couple of things going on. I just finished meditating a little bit, and what you saw was not fake. It wasn't something that I was controlling too. And what happened is I was slowly suspending my breath until when it finally suspends, the nervous system is relaxed and every single cell of the body is concentrated because there is stability, there is less vibration going on within, and so everything comes together and focus. And that's why people who meditate, you can easily see them concentrate and stay in the same position without moving, without doing like this. Or if they're moving slowly, like I can put my hands like this. And during meditation, at a certain point, you find my hands like this. The reason is because during meditation, there is movement, internal movement, energy moves within the system. As I'm talking to you right now, I'm still meditating. And energy is moving. I can feel inside my palm energy moving and moving up into my heart and into my brain. I can feel energy moving and comes up into my heart, comes here into my brain, into my nostrils too. As I'm talking to you right now, I'm feeling energy in my palms. It's like my inner palm feels as if there is air blowing inside. And then inside the palm, inside I feel as if there is movement, slow movement, like a caterpillar is moving in your palm. It's like you are holding something which is mobile. You need to activate that. If you want to be a true spiritual person, that your palms, that energy in your palm, you need to activate it and control it. Because when you control that energy that is flowing in your palm, you've conquered life. Things will happen to you, but you have life under control. You have your own life under control. And probably you have the life of other people in your hands. Meditation, prayers, and spirituality is not something that we're supposed to take lightly, because it's what is given to us for our own survival, for our own lives. What I watch and hear from people nowadays is very troubling. People are not spiritual and they profess to be. I don't want you to be part of that. Get out of there. Get out of the trap of claiming that you are spiritual when you don't know the clues about spirituality. Don't do it. Don't mess around with that one. It's very dangerous. Spirituality is a tool to serve you, to protect you, to preserve your soul and your life, this physical life you have. It's to hold you together so that you will sail through this life of chaos and graduate completing your purpose here. Take that seriously. When I see young men, young women speaking about Jesus, speaking about Christianity, and claiming that they are spiritual, when they are doing no work to spiritualize themselves and to conform to the principles of Jesus, the Buddha, and all of that, it's very troubling. When you see a young man holding a gun and he's talking about God, he's talking about Jesus, he's talking about the law of a human being, that is troubling because that's deception. That's the way the devil wants us to see things. That yes, we can talk about our spirituality, but we can also hold guns and kill something. We are confused because we are not steady. We are not focused. The reason why we are not focused and steady is because we don't practice it. We don't practice how to stay steady so that we can think effectively. We don't do that. And we ought to do that over and over. We ought to pray. Learn how to pray. The reason why we pray is to invoke energy. Is to invoke an energy, whether it's positive or negative. That's the purpose of prayers. Is to communicate with the higher self. And then meditation is to calm, focus, and centralize the self and to invoke the higher self to descend and stabilize us. Meditation is to take us deep into existence and ourselves. And we need to spend a lot of time every day practicing that. We shouldn't be playing with our lives. We shouldn't be soldiers holding guns, going out there and killing other fellow human beings and then preach the gospel to anybody. That's self-deception. Anyone who is a soldier killing somebody has lost a lot. Anyone who is a soldier and claiming to be a spiritual person, a Christian, and has killed or is planning to kill is not yet serious. Because our purpose here on earth is not to kill anything. It doesn't matter what it is. And it doesn't matter what that thing does. We don't have the mandate to kill what we cannot breathe. We have the mandate to replenish the earth, to cultivate it, to enjoy it, and to dominate it. We should understand it. When we pick guns, like I hear the Black Panther are staring black African Americans to wake up with guns, with weapons that will certainly kill fellow human beings Doesn't matter whether they are white or blacks. That type of advocacy is very dangerous for black people. Black people do not need the devil's weapons to fight their wars because they will lose. I don't want any black person to get into that situation where you use the devil's tools to fight him. He will be happy. When you engage in a warfare planned by your enemy and then using the tools of the enemy to fight that war, you'll be a loser. The gun is the enemy's tool. How will you beat him with his tool? That's what we need to think. The black man's tool is his spiritual life, is his higher self. The enemy's tool is his gun and his bomb and violence. Anyone who thinks that violence, guns, and bombs will defeat the spirit being, that person hasn't yet awoken up to self, to the self. Because the self is superior to anything, whether it's gun, bomb, or whatever. There is no reason to fight to protect this life, because this life can protect itself. So when we pick guns to protect our lives, we lose it. Because he that lives by the sword will die by the sword. You have power in prayer, in meditation, in exercise of Ashina, or what the Easterners call yoga. When you master the art of reaching your higher self, you've mastered life. When you master the art of praying and meditation and intercession, you've mastered life. You don't need the guns of the white man. You don't need the guns of the Black Panthers. You need your sanity. You need you. You need your higher self. You need the God that created you to fight your wars for you. Don't use the tool. Don't use the tool of the enemy to fight an enemy, because you will lose. Black Panther, don't use the guns to fight the creator of the guns. Use what your creator has given you to fight your war. It means you need to master your higher self, master your spirit being. When you go to church and you sit there and you don't pray effectively, you don't meditate effectively, you don't concentrate, you don't get things seriously done, you can't free yourself from the vices of the enemy. And you will believe that spirituality cannot solve the problem. Then you will go back and take the tools of the enemy to fight the enemy. You're not going to win him, because he is one step ahead with his tools. He plans ahead of time. Before he created a tool, he had a reason to create it. You only decided to use the tool later on because you realized you were in need and have a reason. Unfortunately, you don't know how to use the tool effectively. But you have something that is naturally yours that you can use. Your spirit being that your God has given to you. You can save yourself and save even generations with it. If you haven't done enough work on yourself, if you're a Black Panther, it's time you begin to do great work on yourself first. Go back in your closet, lock it up, and focus on ask yourself, who am I? What am I doing here on earth? What am I to do in this situation? Why am I and the rest of us going through it? If you focus, you concentrate, you get serious, you don't get distracted by guns and bombs and the violence out there. You don't get distracted by the bigotry and the bigotry and the criminalization and all the chaos going on. If you concentrate, you focus, you meditate effectively the way it ought to be done. You pray effectively the way you ought to pray. You guide your life effectively the way you ought to guide it. You do the things that you need to do the way they ought to be done. You will realize that you will fight your battles in a different way and effectively. And not that you will not experience the pain, the suffering, and all of that. No, you will go through it the way it ought to be done. It will not necessitate you to pick an arm and to shed blood. Because when we shed blood, we have just put ourselves back to the wheel that flipped us here to experience this. Don't do it. Put guns down. Learn more about yourself and your higher self and who you are as a people. Do it for the sake of yourself, your soul, and the sake of our earth and the people, the animals, the birds, the plants, the insects, and everything thereof. I decree a good thing upon your life, and I pray that your days be blessed.